Across the planet, hidden deep in forests, mountains, and even underground, are homes of people who abandon society completely. Some live in silence, others guard secrets too strange to imagine. From bunkers filled with supplies to entire castles built for solitude, these stories reveal a side of humanity few have ever seen. Don't look away, because what you'll see next is even more shocking. Number 12. Lagangarb Hut. For those seeking solitude among spectacular mountains and valleys, Scotland's Lagangarb Hut is a hidden gem. Tucked within the dramatic beauty of Glencoe, this enchanting cottage appears plucked from a storybook, offering an idyllic escape into nature's quiet majesty. Positioned at the foot of Buchaia Etive Moor, one of Scotland's most celebrated peaks, the hut promises tranquility like no other. Built by the Scottish Mountaineering Club, Lagangarb primarily welcomes climbers and adventurers needing shelter from Scotland's unpredictable weather. Yet its fame extends beyond practicality. The hut is renowned for its breathtaking surroundings and unmatched sense of peaceful isolation, making it an unforgettable retreat. The small white cottage stands as a tranquil sanctuary amid Scotland's rugged wilderness, surrounded by sprawling hills, pristine streams, and ever-changing skies. Accessible by foot from the nearby A82 road, Lagangarb Hut may be hidden but is surprisingly reachable. Yet its secluded nature ensures visitors feel worlds away from civilization. The hut's interior is Spartan but functional, with bunk beds, a basic kitchen, and a cozy common area where adventurers share stories by firelight. Outside, red deer often graze nearby, and golden eagles soar overhead. The silence here is profound. No traffic, no city sounds, just wind through heather and distant waterfalls. Weather can change dramatically within minutes, adding to the sense of wildness and isolation. Whether you stay overnight or simply visit, this charming hut offers a refreshing escape, immersing you in Scotland's dramatic beauty where ancient clans once roamed. Number 11. Death Valley Sanctuary. Embracing total solitude and hardship in one of Earth's harshest places sound like your idea of the ultimate adventure? Death Valley's Prefab Sanctuary, a house standing strong in the blazing loneliness of America's hottest frontier. Located in the burning heart of California's Death Valley, this simple retreat goes way beyond the typical idea of a getaway. It's actually facing nature's harshest extremes head-on. Here, under relentless heat that often goes over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, stands a home built for survival, offering pure, unfiltered isolation at its most raw. Built to resist the punishing desert sun and designed to blend with the empty land around it, the house commands sweeping views of rough mountain peaks, endless salt flats, and skies set on fire by otherworldly sunsets. Inside, the simple style matches the stark beauty outside, removing distractions until your only entertainment is the infinite show of sunsets and stars swirling overhead. Only people bold enough to embrace solitude, adventurous spirits craving a life stripped down to basic needs, and desert lovers hungry for the ultimate test of strength can handle this place. Here, civilization becomes a distant memory. Neighbors are far-off mirages. Daily worries shift dramatically from digital connection to the serious challenges of saving water and surviving scorching heat. Visitors brave enough to spend a night through Airbnb come out changed, describing their experiences as surreal, deep, and life-changing. This isn't just a house, it's an experiment in self-reliance and endurance. I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go! Number 10. Lindeness Lighthouse. How far north would you go for absolute solitude? At the southernmost tip of Norway's stunning mainland, Lindeness offers exactly that, a breathtaking escape into isolation where nature puts on a show you'll never forget. Lindeness Lighthouse isn't just remote, it's spectacularly positioned, perched on a rocky shoreline overlooking the open North Sea. This historic beacon marks the very edge of continental Norway. Imagine standing here under the glow of the midnight sun, where daylight never truly fades from May to July. But reaching this secluded hideaway isn't exactly a stroll through the park. It's a scenic but challenging journey that starts from nearby towns, winding through landscapes filled with rugged coastlines, wildflowers, and epic panoramic views. The reward at the end? Absolute tranquility and sweeping vistas of unspoiled wilderness. Why do people venture all this way? Apart from being the perfect spot to disconnect, Lindeness is famous for its remarkable natural beauty. Think turquoise waters, whales passing by, and during winter, a stunning dance of northern lights above your head. The Lighthouse Museum tells stories of brave keepers who lived here in complete isolation for months at a time, battling fierce storms and endless darkness during polar nights. Rocky beaches stretch for miles, perfect for solitary walks where your footprints might be the only human marks for days. Could you imagine yourself watching the endless horizon from this breathtakingly remote lighthouse, completely surrounded by nothing but nature's majestic display? The contrast between summer's endless light and winter's deep darkness creates two completely different worlds of solitude. Number 9. Crystal Mill. Ever thought about living completely off-grid in a place that feels like stepping into a postcard? Welcome to Crystal Mill, an iconic wooden structure tucked away in the breathtaking mountains of Colorado. Built near the small ghost town of Crystal, this enchanting mill once powered air compressors for local miners. Today, it stands perched precariously on the edge of a cliff overlooking the roaring Crystal River, surrounded by lush forests and rugged peaks. Why does Crystal Mill attract so many solitude seekers? Well, there's no easy access, no highways or paved roads. Reaching this picturesque hideaway involves a bumpy, adventurous trek on a rough 4x4 road, hiking, or mountain biking. The reward for those brave enough to tackle the journey? Pure wilderness and a scene from an old Western movie. Inside, it's as rustic as you'd imagine, without any modern conveniences. No electricity, no internet, just an authentic taste of 19th century living. It's a place for those who dream of completely disconnecting and immersing themselves in nature's beauty. Think endless adventure, fishing crystal-clear lakes, wandering untouched landscapes, and falling asleep beneath countless stars. The mill's wooden structure has weathered over a century of harsh mountain. Number 8. San Columbano Hermitage. Could you handle living balanced dramatically on the edge of a towering cliff high above civilization? San Columbano Hermitage, Italy's breathtaking cliffside hideaway that feels straight out of legend. Built into the sheer rock walls of northern Italy's Trambileno region, this incredible hermitage sits hanging above a rushing river, as if challenging gravity itself. Founded over 1,000 years ago in the 8th century, it's named after Saint Columbano, a legendary figure who, according to stories, defeated a terrifying dragon in this very valley. Originally designed as a sanctuary for monks seeking total solitude and spiritual thinking, the hermitage represents human determination at its finest. Reached by a winding staircase of 102 stone steps, it's a marvel of human creativity and stubbornness. The tiny chapel and simple living areas are carved directly into the rock, showing both spiritual isolation and harmony with nature. Over the centuries, monks and hermits called this cliffside retreat home, dedicating their lives to meditation and prayer, completely cut off from the chaos of the outside world. The hermitage clings to the cliff face like it grew there naturally, with rooms that seem to float in mid-air. Visitors today can still experience the same sense of otherworldly peace that drew religious people here centuries ago. The sound of rushing water below and wind through the rocks creates a natural soundtrack for contemplation. Number 7. Three Drungaviti Lighthouse. Consider the freedom of genuinely disconnecting from everything familiar. Perched dramatically on top of an isolated sea stack off Iceland's rugged coastline stands Three Drungaviti Lighthouse, a place that takes solitude to astonishing new heights. This lighthouse isn't your average secluded getaway. It sits on top of a steep, narrow rock formation rising a dizzying 120 feet above the wild Atlantic Ocean, nearly 4.5 miles off Iceland's southern shore. Three Drungaviti Lighthouse was built between 1938 and 1939. Workers overcame rough seas and climbed ropes, manually hauling materials to the top. Why would anyone choose this incredibly remote spot? Its isolation serves a critical purpose, guiding ships safely through treacherous waters, particularly during Iceland's notoriously stormy winters. Surprisingly, until recently, reaching the lighthouse was only possible via helicopter, making it possibly the ultimate refuge for anyone truly wanting nothing to do with the outside world. Today, automation keeps Three Drungaviti running, meaning no human keeper is needed, though it's visited occasionally by maintenance teams. The lighthouse has become a symbol of human determination against nature's wildest forces. Storm waves regularly crash over 100 feet high around the rock, creating a spectacular and terrifying display of nature's power. Puffins nest on the narrow ledges during summer months, providing the only other signs of life. The isolation is so complete that weather can change from calm to life-threatening within minutes. But imagine spending a night here. No neighbors, endless ocean views, and nothing but crashing waves to keep you company. Sounds thrilling or terrifying? Number 6. Vila Epiquen. Ever dream about living in something straight out of a post-apocalyptic movie? Vila Epiquen, Argentina's ghost town frozen in time, shows what total disconnection really looks like. Southwest of Buenos Aires, Vila Epiquen was once a fancy escape spot, attracting visitors who wanted to soak in the healing waters of its saltwater lake. But in 1985, a massive flood buried the whole town under 30 feet of water, turning busy streets into silent underwater ruins. After sitting underwater for decades, the water finally went down, showing twisted metal, rusty cars, and salt-covered buildings. It's a creepy landscape stuck in time. Today, just one person remains, Pablo Novak. Living among the empty ruins, Pablo represents extreme isolation, choosing to stay in the abandoned town with no neighbors, electricity, or modern stuff. His lonely life shows incredible toughness, proving his strong desire to stay away from the outside world. Vila Epiquen now stands as a weird reminder of how isolation can totally change human life. Here, you can see nature taking back what was once a thriving town. It's a dramatic shelter for anyone wanting nothing to do with society, showing loneliness in its purest and most haunting way. The salt-crusted remains of hotels, houses, and cars create an otherworldly scene that feels more like Mars than Earth. Number 5. Just Room Enough Island. When the Silent family built their home on Just Room Enough Island, they took isolation to a completely new extreme. Their charming red cottage takes up nearly every inch of a tiny island measuring just 3,300 square feet, completely surrounded by the waters of the St. Lawrence River. With barely enough space for a few bushes and a small patio, it's the ultimate retreat for anyone wanting to disconnect totally from the outside world. Recognized by Guinness World Records as the smallest inhabited island, this secluded haven perfectly shows the desire to live apart from everyday chaos. The island proves you don't need acres of land to create your personal slice of heaven. Just room enough to relax and enjoy life. The Silents bought this tiny piece of land in the 1950s because they wanted a summer retreat that would guarantee complete privacy. Getting supplies to the island requires careful planning, since everything must come by boat. The family has to be completely self-sufficient during their stays, relying on solar power for electricity and rainwater collection for fresh water. Storm watching from the cottage becomes an incredible experience, with waves literally crashing just feet from the front door. The isolation. Number 4. Casa do Penedo. Step into fantasy at Casa do Penedo, a captivating stone house that looks plucked straight from a storybook. Nestled among the peaks of Portugal's remote Fafe Mountains, Casa do Penedo, literally meaning House of the Rock, looks like it emerged directly from the landscape itself. This extraordinary home offers a magical blend of rustic charm and absolute isolation, the kind of place you have to see to believe. Why build a house between giant rocks? Initially designed as a private retreat for family getaways, its secluded location was meant to provide peace and escape from busy modern life. With no electricity, Casa do Penedo is as off-grid as you can get. Perfect if you truly want nothing to do with the outside world. Picture spending evenings beside a crackling fireplace, surrounded by thick stone walls and cozy interiors lit by candlelight. Outside, sweeping mountain views stretch endlessly, giving a sense of pure tranquility and isolation that's hard to beat. The house uses the natural rock formations as walls, creating rooms that feel like caves, but with all the comfort of a modern home. Although it's now a small museum, visitors still trek here for the surreal experience of stepping back into simpler times. The structure has become so famous that it inspired countless fairy tale illustrations and fantasy movies. Local shepherds still use the mountain paths around the house, just as they have for centuries. Weather here can change dramatically. Morning mist gives way to brilliant sunshine, then sudden mountain storms that make the Number 3. Serbia's Drina River House. For anyone who's wished for a tiny house floating peacefully in the middle of a river, Serbia's Drina River House makes that dream real. This perfect escape sits completely away from the noise and chaos of everyday life. Sitting on top of a rock right in the center of Serbia's beautiful Drina River near Bajina Bašta, this tiny wooden cabin looks like something from a fairy tale. But this charming home isn't just pretty to look at. It has quite the adventure story. Created by daring teenagers looking for a peaceful spot away from crowded riverbanks, the house quickly became their secret paradise. Using kayaks, boats, and pure determination, they built a cozy hideout on top of the rock, fighting off storms, floods, and shifting currents. Over the years, this tiny cabin has survived countless floods and been rebuilt many times, each rebuild adding to its legendary charm. Inside the cabin, things stay simple. Just a couple rooms with basic stuff. No electricity, no internet, just the gentle sounds of flowing water and amazing views of green banks on both sides. People who visit describe it as magical, feeling truly alone yet incredibly connected to nature. The house has become so famous that photographers travel from around the world to capture its unique beauty. Would you be brave enough to spend a night in this little house where your only neighbors are fish and flowing water? Number 2. St. Cato Island. Looking for the hidden island escape you've always dreamed about? A tiny, mystical haven far away from everyday life's noise? St. Cato, a captivating little island tucked in the heart of France's enchanting Ettle River, isn't your ordinary island. It's a fascinating, peaceful sanctuary reached only by a charming stone bridge. Legend says St. Cato himself created this stone pathway, connecting the island to the mainland with help from angels. Today, this bridge feels like a path to another world, drawing visitors into a timeless village suspended between reality and legend. At the heart of St. Cato sits a charming 12th century chapel surrounded by quaint fishermen's cottages, each holding stories of generations who chose solitude over modern convenience. The island is best known for its iconic little house sitting isolated on its own tiny rock nearby. Surrounded entirely by calm waters known as the House on the Rock, this home symbolizes complete isolation, representing the desire to withdraw from everyday life into quiet, thoughtful existence. Walking around St. Cato feels like stepping back in time. The only sounds here are whispering winds, gentle waves, and distant seabirds, creating an atmosphere so peaceful it borders on magical. The thatched roof cottages and ancient stone walls tell stories of simpler times, when life moved at the pace of tides and seasons. Could you see yourself living where time slows down, legends come alive, and the outside world seems to fade away completely? Number 1. Elliday Island Lodge. Picture having an entire island just for yourself. Elliday Island Lodge might be the loneliest yet coolest house you'll ever see. Located on Elliday Island, part of Iceland's amazing Vestmannaeyjar archipelago, this lodge is the ultimate getaway for anyone craving real isolation. Built back in the 1950s, this weird single building sits alone on a bright green island, surrounded by cliffs that drop straight down into the Atlantic Ocean. The lodge started as a hunting spot for puffin hunters from the mainland. These days, it's kept up by a local hunting group, letting a few lucky people experience loneliness like never before. Getting there isn't exactly a casual weekend trip. You need a boat and some serious courage, since the only way onto the island involves carefully climbing steep cliffs and slippery rocks. Inside, everything's basic but cozy, exactly what you'd expect in such a remote hideout. Simple furniture and zero electricity mean you're totally unplugged, creating the perfect digital detox. The house depends on collecting rainwater for drinking and washing. While the modern world rushes on everywhere else, life here slows way down. The only neighbors you'll have are puffins and crashing ocean waves. Could you handle staying somewhere this remote, where your biggest excitement might be watching seabirds dive for fish?
Still curious? Then don't stop now. The next mystery is already waiting for you. Just click the video on screen. I saved it just for you. See you there, curious one.